When the aliens cried, the universe listened. The universe is full of mysteries, but the greatest mystery of all is emotion. Humans believed they were the only ones who could feel deeply enough to change the course of their own destiny. But this belief shattered on a quiet night when the first alien tears fell, tears that did not touch the ground, but touched the very fabric of existence. This is the story of the cries that shook galaxies. This is the story of how we listened. The story begins on Earth, in a small observatory on a mountain where Dr. Liana Marek, an astronomer, worked alone. She was known for spending endless nights staring into the sky, searching for patterns where others saw chaos. Most people believed she was chasing nothing. She believed the universe always whispered. Humans simply forgot how to listen. That night, the sky felt unusually still. The stars looked dim, as if they were holding back a secret. Liana sat with her notebook open, ready to record any anomaly. That was when the first signal arrived, not a sound, not a number, not a wave, something else entirely. It was a pattern of shifting light on a star near the edge of the Milky Way. The star flickered like a heartbeat struggling to stay alive. At first she thought it was a dying star, going through its final collapse. But then the pulse changed. It repeated, then repeated again. It was not random. It was structured. It was deliberate. Liana leaned forward, whispering to herself, "Someone is crying." She did not know what made her say the word. It simply felt right. For days the pattern continued. Liana shared her findings with the Global Astronomy Council. At first, they ignored her, thinking she had misread cosmic noise. But after a week, the pattern grew stronger, more rhythmic, more emotional. Eventually, an astrophysicist named Dr. Wei Chin decoded a portion of it. It was not language. It was not mathematics. It was something more primal. "It mirrors the structure of human grief," he said during a meeting. "The same emotional frequency we release when we cry." The room went silent. Grief? From a star? No one had an explanation. Liana felt an ache in her chest. She looked at the star's data on the screen, the slight trembling in its luminous waves. "It's alive," she said softly. "Or someone living is using it." People laughed at first. It sounded absurd, but the data did not lie. The star was not signaling in radio waves or photons alone. Something else, some unknown energy, was woven into the pulses. Something emotional. Something that felt like sorrow. When people finally stopped laughing, humanity began to worry. It happened 2 months later. The night sky above Earth rippled. Stars bent out of formation, as if pulled by invisible hands. A bright streak of silver light tore across the atmosphere. Emergency alarms activated worldwide. Every telescope on Earth pointed upward. Every human heart trembled. A ship, massive and translucent like crystal, descended quietly, without sound or flame. It stopped above the Pacific Ocean, floating with impossible grace as waves parted beneath it. People expected destruction. They expected invasion. But instead, the ship released something unexpected, something that made the whole world freeze. A soft, mournful sound.
A cry.
It echoed across the sky like the whisper of a wounded child. The ocean trembled. Clouds swirled. Birds stopped mid-flight. Humanity had heard alien emotion for the first time. Governments panicked. Militaries prepared for conflict. But the ship did not attack. It simply hovered, crying softly, as if mourning something unimaginable. Finally, a door opened. A beam of light projected toward the ocean surface, forming a bridge of shimmering particles. And from that light stepped the first alien. The being was tall and slender, almost transparent. Its body glowed faintly, like starlight trapped in glass. It had no visible face, yet the air around it shimmered as though it wept. Not water tears, light tears. Each droplet sparkled before fading into the wind. The first alien tears to ever fall on Earth. Liana watched from a helicopter window as the creature stepped onto the ocean surface and stood there, crying. She felt her throat tighten. "It feels sad," she whispered. Dr. Wei Chun beside her nodded. "Its energy levels are falling. Whatever it is, it's suffering." Liana leaned forward. We have to help it. Wei stared at her in disbelief. Help? We don't even know what it wants. But she already felt the answer. It wants someone to listen. The alien lifted its glowing arms. Light rippled across the sky. Its voice was not sound but vibration, felt inside the mind, not through ears. We are the Alindra. We travel with the cries of the universe. One of our own is dying, and the universe has turned silent. Liana felt tears fill her eyes. The alien continued. The star whose light you saw is our home. Its heart is fading. We cannot bear its grief alone. We came to ask, will you help us save it? The world listened. And for the first time in human history, humanity felt the sorrow of a being from another world. A global assembly was called. Leaders from every region met with the alien emissary, who called itself Raylan. Raylan explained that their species was connected to stars, not physically, but emotionally. They lived in harmony with the light of their home stars, drawing energy from their warmth and giving emotional energy in return. Humans did not fully understand. So Raylan showed them. He raised his hand, releasing a small sphere of shimmering light. The sphere hovered over the table, spinning gently. Then it displayed an image, an enormous star surrounded by ethereal beings. But the star flickered painfully. Its light trembled. It cried. Not metaphorically, not symbolically. Raylan said, our star knows us, feels us, loves us. But it is dying, and its cries have gone unanswered. We fear it will collapse into silence. And with it our memories, our history, our souls. A hush fell over the room. Raylan lowered his head. Will you listen with us? Scientists, religious leaders, philosophers, and governments debated endlessly. Some feared the Alindra. Others argued humanity had a moral duty to help. Many simply did not understand what saving a star even meant. How could humans stop a cosmic collapse? Liana, however, understood something essential. We can't save the star physically, she said in a meeting. But maybe the star isn't dying from lack of energy. Maybe it's dying of emotional exhaustion. People stared at her as if she had gone mad. But Raylan nodded. Stars feel more than you know. He said their star was collapsing because its bond with the Alindra was weakening. Fear, wars, and suffering across their worlds had severed the emotional harmony. The star felt abandoned. What does it need? Liana asked gently. Raylan lowered his head. Hope. Connection. Light that listens. Liana inhaled sharply. Then we give it that. A joint human, Alindra mission was formed. Liana, Wei, Raylan, and a crew of scientists boarded the crystalline alien ship. The ship did not use fuel. It traveled through emotional resonance, riding the currents of cosmic feeling. Humans struggled to understand. But as the ship lifted off, Earth felt smaller and quieter. Liana gazed back at the blue sphere. We're going to help a star, she whispered in awe. Raylan touched her shoulder gently. You're going to help it feel heard. The ship shifted into a tunnel of shimmering light. Colors beyond human understanding flooded their vision. They could feel emotions in the air, ancient, cosmic emotions, like the dreams of galaxies. Wei whispered, Is this the universe's heartbeat? Raylan answered softly, This is the place where even silence speaks. The journey had begun. The ship emerged from the tunnel of light into a region of space unlike anything humans had ever seen. The stars here were dimmer, quieter, as if holding their breath. Ahead of them burned a massive star, once radiant, but now flickering weakly. It pulsed in uneven rhythms, like a heart struggling to stay alive. Liana felt pressure in her chest. The closer they came, the heavier the emotion grew. Raylan bowed his head. Our star, Elindravares. Wei whispered, It feels sad. Liana nodded. Tears slid down her cheeks without her understanding why. Raylan lifted his hands toward the glowing giant. It can sense you. As you sense it, human emotion is louder than we expected. Liana whispered, It's hurting. Wei added, And it's scared. The star flickered violently, sending out ripples of energy that made the ship tremble. Raylan stepped forward. glowing brighter. We need to begin the convergence. Scene 10. The convergence begins. Raylan brought Liana and Wei to a chamber inside the ship. The walls glowed with pulsing energy, shifting gently with every emotion inside the room. At the center stood a platform with strands of shimmering crystal hanging from above, like curtains of starlight. This is the convergence gate, Raylan explained. It allows minds to align not thoughts but feelings, to connect with the star. Wei looked nervous. Will it hurt? Raylan shook his head. Emotion does not harm. Only fear does. Liana stepped onto the platform first. As the crystals touched her skin, she felt warmth spread through her body. It was like being wrapped in the memory of a perfect sunrise. She closed her eyes, and suddenly she heard it. A faint sound. A sob. Not human. Not alien. Something vast. Something ancient. It was the star. She gasped. It's crying alone. Raylan stepped beside her, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. We will let it know it is not alone. Wei stepped onto the platform too, swallowing hard. Let's do this. Raylan raised his glowing hands. Light filled the chamber. Begin convergence. Scene 11. Inside the heart of a star. The world dissolved. Liana found herself standing inside a realm of pure light, white, gold, and shimmering blue. It felt like standing in the center of a memory, or inside a dream someone else was having. The star's voice echoed everywhere, trembling. I am losing them. I am losing myself. I am falling into silence. Liana stepped forward, her voice shaking. We're here. We hear you. The light pulsed. The star answered softly. Human? You hear my sorrow? Yes, she whispered. And we will help. Raylan appeared beside her, glowing brighter than before. Vari's beloved star, we are with you. We have not abandoned you. But the star groaned like a collapsing world. The Alindra forget their harmony. They fear the shadows. They fear each other. I feel their fear pulling me apart. Wei stepped forward. We'll help restore your connection. You're not alone anymore. For a moment, the light softened. The trembling eased. The star's voice quieted, like a child listening to a lullaby. But then, a dark crack split across the realm. The light dimmed. The star screamed. Liana fell to her knees, clutching her chest as pain ripped through her. Wei gasped. Raylan cried out in a desperate tone. It is collapsing. Vari's is losing its emotional core. Liana forced herself up. What do we do? Raylan's voice shook. You must show it hope. You must remind it of connection. Humans, your emotions burn brighter than ours. You can reach it. The star wailed again, shaking the entire realm. Liana closed her eyes. She thought of every sunrise she had seen, every friend she had loved, every moment she had felt alive, every time she had cried and someone had held her. She let those memories expand outward, bright, warm, human. The light around her shimmered. The star's voice softened. Warmth? A feeling I have not known for ages. Wei added his own memories of family, of childhood dreams, of laughter. The realm grew brighter. Raylan let out a shaky breath. It is listening. It feels you. Continue. The cracks in the realm slowly closed as the star absorbed the warmth of human hearts. The star whispered, I remember. The first time my light touched life. I remember joy. I remember millions of voices singing back to me. Where did that harmony go? Raylan's voice was gentle. Fear took it from us. We forgot to trust. We forgot to listen. The star cried softly. Will they listen again? Liana answered with certainty. Yes. We will help them remember. You don't have to fade. The realm glowed brighter, healing slowly. But the star whispered, one final bond must be restored, the one who broke me. Wei frowned. Who? Raylan closed his eyes painfully. My own brother. The one who leads the Alindra now. He severed his connection to Vari's. His grief became fear. His fear became silence. And silence is killing our star. Liana's heart tightened. We have to reach him. Raylan nodded. His silence has become a storm. If we cannot mend him, Varys will collapse, and our entire species will fade with it. The star pulsed weakly. Find him. Bring him back to me before it is too late. The realm shook violently again, pushing them back toward their bodies. Liana gasped and opened her eyes. She was back in the ship's chamber, breathing hard. Her body trembled with exhaustion. Wei was sweating. That was intense. Raylan looked heartbroken. We must return to Alindra. My brother has closed his heart. Only there can we reach him. Liana steadied herself. We'll help you. Raylan's voice cracked with gratitude. Then we may yet save our star. The ship shifted into another stream of shimmering energy. The emotional tunnel this time felt darker, colder. Shadows twisted through the currents like streams of forgotten sorrow. Wei murmured, "This doesn't feel right." Raylan nodded sadly. "This is the emotional resonance of my people right now. Fear, doubt, anger. The harmony that once connected us is nearly gone." Liana touched the wall, feeling millions of emotions swirling through it. "We'll help you bring it back." Raylan looked at her with glowing eyes. "We believe humans were not ready for the stars. But now, I see you were always meant to help us hear the universe again." The ship emerged into orbit around a world that shimmered like a glowing crystal sphere. Alindra. Beautiful. Silent. Grieving. Raylan whispered, "We have arrived. And my brother waits in darkness." The Alindra homeworld was breathtaking, even in its grief. Mountains of crystalline light stretched into the sky, reflecting colors humans could barely name. Rivers of liquid starlight flowed across valleys, and the air shimmered with echoes of emotion. But beneath the beauty was a shadow, a deep, cold silence. Liana felt it immediately. It pressed on her chest like a stone. Wei clutched her arm instinctively. Raylan's glow dimmed. His voice was low, trembling. "This is where my brother lives. He has shut himself from the world. His fear has become a prison." Liana asked softly, "What happened?" Raylan sighed. "He once loved Varys more than any of us, but fear took him. He thought that by cutting the bond he could protect us. Instead, he nearly killed our star." Liana swallowed hard. "Then we have to reach him." Raylan nodded. "Only through empathy can he remember what he lost. Humans, your emotions burn bright enough to reach him. That is why you are here." They descended to the surface. Light from the twin moons glimmered over the crystal forests. The atmosphere hummed softly with unspoken sorrow. At the center of a valley stood a solitary figure, taller and brighter than anyone else, but cloaked in shadow. Raylan froze. His glow dimmed further. "He is called Kalen," Raylan whispered. "He has rejected all connection. And yet he mourns silently." The humans approached cautiously. Liana stepped forward. "Kalen," she said gently, "we know your pain. We know your fear. But hurting the star will not save anyone." Kalen turned slowly. His body radiated a cold, jagged light. His voice was a trembling echo in their minds. "You do not understand. I loved Varys. I tried to save it, but its grief, its endless sorrow. I could not bear it. I could not watch it destroy us all." Liana took a deep breath. "We understand more than you think. Varys is not an enemy. It's a part of all of you, and it misses the connection you abandoned. Let us help you reach it again." Kalen's light flickered violently. His pain radiated like a storm. Wei reached out instinctively. "We can help carry it," Wei said. "Together." Kalen's shadowed glow trembled. He almost rejected them, but something in Liana's voice softened him. Raylan stepped forward. "Brother, you were never meant to carry this alone." Kalen's chest pulsed with jagged light. "I tried. I failed. And now it dies." "You did not fail," Liana said firmly. "You were afraid. That's human. That's alien. That's living. But fear is only dangerous if we let it rule us. You can reach Varys again, Kalen. You don't have to be alone." Kalen wavered. Shadows and light clashed across his form. Then he spoke in a voice so soft it sounded like a whisper carried across galaxies. I don't know how. Liana stepped closer, placing a hand on a crystal formation. Light pulsed from it, spreading warmth. Through memory, through hope, through feeling again. Let your sorrow reach it, and it will respond. The shadows began to recede. Kalen's glow softened. For the first time in decades, he cried. Tears of pure starlight fell from his form, falling like sparks on the crystal ground. As Kalen's tears fell, a ripple spread across the Alindra planet, reaching into space. The distant star, Vares, trembled violently. And then it pulsed. A strong, steady heartbeat returned. Liana gasped. It's responding. It can feel him again. Raylan's voice broke with relief. Vares, you are alive. Kalen fell to his knees. I felt it. I felt its sorrow. I almost let it die, but it's still here. Wei smiled. It's not just alive, it's listening. The star's pulses grew brighter, stronger. Every heartbeat of Vares echoed through the universe like a song. Even humans aboard the ship could feel it deep in their souls. Liana felt tears on her cheeks. We did it, we reached it. Raylan knelt beside his brother. And now, a universe listens again. Over the following days, humans and Alindra worked together. They formed a ritual of shared emotion. Humans offered memories, dreams, and hope. Alindra channeled their connection to Vares. Each pulse of grief was met with love. Each cry answered with understanding. The star healed. Its light spread across space, brighter than ever before, warming planets, reigniting dying celestial fires, and reminding distant civilizations that the universe was alive, not just in matter, but in feeling. Raylan spoke softly to Liana one night as they observed Vares from orbit. You have changed everything. Humans, your hearts are capable of more than you know. You have reminded us that even the oldest stars can feel again. Liana nodded, her eyes full of awe. And we've learned that listening, truly listening, is how we save each other. Back on Earth, people noticed changes. Astronomers recorded unusual energy patterns from the far reaches of the galaxy. Plants and oceans seemed to hum with life. Even humans felt the pulse of Vares in subtle ways, an almost imperceptible sense of connectedness that reminded them that grief, when shared, could become healing. Raylan returned to his people with Kalen. The Alindra rejoiced. Their culture, once steeped in isolation, became a bridge between worlds. The humans who accompanied them were honored, and their stories spread across the stars. Liana returned to her observatory. Every night, she looked at the star she had once called a cry in the dark. She whispered softly, "We heard you, and the universe heard you." One night, after all the missions ended and humans returned home, the stars seemed to shimmer in a language beyond words. Then, a single pulse echoed across the galaxy, soft, pure, and full of relief. The Alindra star, Vares, had cried again. But this time, it was not sorrow. It was gratitude. And somewhere deep in the universe, Liana could feel it, a message carried across light years, speaking directly to hearts that were open. Even in the darkest grief, listening can save a star. Liana smiled and closed her eyes, letting the warmth of Vares fill her soul. The universe had listened. Liana, Wei, and a small human team returned to Earth aboard the Alindra ship. The journey through the emotional tunnels felt lighter this time. The star's renewed pulse was a soft, comforting presence that followed them home. When the ship descended, people gathered on the coasts and mountaintops, staring in awe at the crystalline vessel. There was no fear this time, only curiosity. The humans who had returned carried a quiet, radiant energy that made the crowd sense that something extraordinary had happened. Liana stepped onto the Earth's surface, the wind brushing her face. She looked up at the stars. Vares shone brighter than any star she had ever seen. Its light felt alive, almost like a heartbeat pulsing across the sky. Wei smiled beside her. It's still crying. No, Liana said, her eyes shining. This time, it's singing. In the weeks that followed, humanity began to feel subtle changes. People became more empathetic, more patient, more willing to listen to one another. Wars did not end immediately, but conflicts seemed less permanent. It was as if the pulse of Vares had reached Earth, teaching humans how grief, when shared, could transform into hope. News outlets broadcasted images of the Alindra ship, of the alien beings, and of the star Vares. While governments debated the meaning, ordinary people found themselves looking up at the sky differently. Children would whisper to the stars at night, feeling they were finally understood. Liana continued her work at the observatory but spent more time listening than recording. She noticed patterns not in numbers, but in feelings, subtle rhythms in light, small shifts in cosmic energy that seemed to respond to human emotions. She understood now. The universe was alive in a way that mathematics could not fully explain. A year later, Raylan returned to Earth. This time, Kalen accompanied him. They came to visit the humans who had helped them reconnect with their star. It was not a grand arrival. There was no spectacle. The Alindra simply appeared in light, calm and soft, carrying an aura of serenity. Raylan spoke to Liana and Wei. "You have changed the course of our species. Your ability to listen has saved Vares. And in saving our star, you have reminded the universe that all life, human or alien, is connected." Kalen stepped forward, his shadowed glow now softened and radiant. "I feared my grief would destroy everything. But your empathy reminded me that sharing pain does not weaken a soul, it strengthens it. Humans, you have taught us that even the oldest star can feel hope again." Liana smiled. "And you've reminded us that listening is never wasted." The Alindra spent weeks sharing knowledge with humans. Not technology in the traditional sense, but wisdom. How to feel in harmony with one another, how to observe without judgment, and how grief could be a bridge, not a wall. The Alindra offered a gift to humanity, a crystal from Vares itself. It glowed with the star's heartbeat, pulsing softly with warmth. They explained that the crystal would help humans remain attuned to cosmic emotion, to the subtle feelings of the universe that humans often ignored. Liana held the crystal in her hands. She felt the pulse of Vares, like a heartbeat echoing inside her chest. She whispered, "We will not forget." Raylan nodded. "And we will not forget you. The universe listens more now because of you." Even Wei, who had always been cautious about sentiment, felt tears prick his eyes. "I never imagined the universe could feel this way." The Alindra laughed softly. It was a sound like wind through starlight. It always has. Back on Earth, the presence of the star's renewed energy gradually influenced society. Artists painted more boldly, inspired by the star's light. Musicians composed symphonies that mirrored the pulse of Vares. Even scientists began looking at the cosmos not just as matter to be studied, but as something alive and responsive. Liana often spoke at conferences about emotional resonance, about the time humans and aliens together reached across light years to listen. Her words were simple, but profound. Grief is not weakness. Crying is not failure. When we listen to each other, truly listen, the universe itself listens with us. Children asked her if the stars were crying tonight. She would smile, pointing to the sky. "Some stars cry, but some stars sing. And when they sing, you'll feel it in your heart." Years passed. Vares continued to pulse, brighter than before. The Alindra maintained their bond with the star and with humanity. Exchanges between Earth and the alien world became routine, not just scientific but emotional. Humans learned to share hope as readily as they shared knowledge. Liana and Wei often looked at the night sky together. They could feel Vares in subtle ways, a warmth in the chest, a flicker in thought, a pulse of comfort whenever grief or fear arose. One night, Liana whispered, "Do you think the universe is listening now?" Wei smiled, placing a hand on hers. "I know it is, and I think it remembers us." From across the void, the star's heartbeat pulsed softly, a cosmic reminder that grief, when met with empathy, could become a bridge between worlds, species, and hearts. And somewhere, deep in the fabric of space, the universe had learned to listen, not just to stars, not just to humans, not just to aliens, but to the shared, aching, radiant heart of existence itself. The Alindra organized a grand ceremony in orbit around Vares to honor the humans who had helped restore the star. Liana, Wei, and other delegates from Earth were invited. The ceremony was unlike anything humans had ever seen. The sky was alive with ribbons of glowing energy. The star itself pulsed rhythmically, sending waves of warmth and emotion across the gathering. It was as though every heart present could feel the star's gratitude. Raylan stepped forward, addressing both humans and Alindra. Tonight, we celebrate not just Vares, but the power of empathy. You have reminded us that listening is more than hearing, it is feeling. And that feeling is the language of the universe. Kaelin, now fully radiant, added, "We were blind in our grief, but you showed us that sharing sorrow can revive the light. The universe will remember this moment." Liana and Wei exchanged a glance. Words could not fully capture what they were experiencing. Instead, they joined in the ritual of shared emotion. Thoughts, feelings, and memories flowed freely between humans and Alindra, creating a symphony of life that resonated across the cosmos. After the ceremony, Liana explored the Alindra planet. She walked through forests of crystalline trees, where the leaves shimmered with tiny pulses of light like miniature stars. She could feel the lingering energy of Vares in the air. Each step felt like walking inside the pulse of a heartbeat. She met Kaelin at the edge of a cliff, overlooking rivers of flowing starlight. "You changed my world," he said softly. "And not just mine. Vares's, ours, and now yours as well." Liana smiled. "No, we changed it together. Listening changes everything." Kaelin nodded. "Then promise me, you'll carry this lesson to your people. Let them understand that grief and hope are not enemies. They are the threads of life." "I will," she said. "I promise." As they spoke, a soft pulse from Vares rippled through the planet, brushing against every living being. Liana closed her eyes, feeling the star's heartbeat synchronize with her own. It was peaceful. It was alive. And it was finally content. When Liana and Wei returned to Earth, the changes were subtle but unmistakable. Communities began to value emotional connection more. Schools taught empathy alongside science. Leaders considered the emotional impact of their decisions. Even ordinary conversations carried a new awareness. Listening became an art. Liana resumed her work at the observatory but no longer stared at the stars with longing. Instead, she felt them. The pulse of Vares reached Earth in gentle waves, reminding everyone that the universe could cry, and more importantly, that it could be heard. Years later, Liana led an international observatory network designed to detect emotional resonance in space. The discovery of Vares had revealed that stars were more than burning spheres of gas. They carried emotion, memory, and connection. One evening, as she recorded the pulse of Vares, she noticed a new pattern. The star was sending a signal, a rhythmic series of pulses that felt like laughter. She laughed softly herself. "It's happy," she whispered. "It's alive, and it's happy." Wei leaned over, smiling. "I think it wants us to know that sorrow and joy are always linked. One cannot exist without the other." Liana nodded, tears in her eyes. "And now, the universe knows that we are listening." The story of Vares and the Alindra spread across humanity. Poets wrote about crying stars, musicians composed symphonies that reflected cosmic emotion, and children gazed at the night sky with awe and curiosity. People no longer saw the universe as distant or indifferent. They understood that their feelings mattered, and that listening could create change. They learned that every act of empathy, no matter how small, rippled outward, touching stars, planets, and beings far beyond their comprehension. Liana looked up at Vares every night. She whispered to it, sometimes sharing her thoughts, sometimes simply saying, "I'm listening." And every night, she felt the stars' pulse respond in kind. The pulse lingered in the night, soft and eternal. Humanity, the Alindra, and the universe itself were in a fragile, beautiful harmony, a network of feeling, connection, and care that spanned stars and hearts alike. As generations passed, The story of the crying alien star became legend. Humans told tales of Liana and Wei, of the Alindra, of Kalin and Raylan, and of Vares, the star that cried. No one forgot that emotion mattered. Tears could heal. Listening could save worlds. Grief could become hope. The universe, once silent to human ears, had learned to resonate with care. And every night, across countless worlds, the stars pulsed with subtle rhythms that mirrored laughter, tears, and joy, proof that when beings cried, when they were truly heard, the universe itself listened. Liana, older now, sat at her observatory. The night was still. The stars were calm, each one alive with subtle pulses of feeling. She looked at Vares, shining brighter than ever. She whispered softly, "Thank you for letting us hear you. Thank you for letting us be part of your song." And in that moment, across the unfathomable distance of space, the stars' pulse echoed back, a gentle, eternal affirmation. We are never alone, and the universe will always listen.